A quiet mind is the beginning of a peaceful night. The ancient philosopher Socrates discovered secrets for calming the soul that are more relevant tonight than ever. By the end of our time together, you will possess a timeless method to quiet your thoughts and welcome deep, restorative sleep. We will uncover why a man who claimed to know nothing held the key to inner tranquility, and how his final, mysterious words might be the perfect lullaby. What is one thought you are ready to release as you settle in for the night? He was a man you might have passed in the ancient marketplace without a second glance. Socrates never wrote a single book, never built a monument, and claimed to possess no special wisdom. His classroom was the open air of Athens. His students were anyone who would stop and talk, and his tools were simple, relentless questions. He would engage a proud general, asking what courage truly is. He would question a famous poet, gently unraveling their understanding of beauty. He did not lecture from a pedestal but wandered as a fellow seeker, his entire life a testament to one profound belief. He declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. This was not a judgment but an invitation. It is an echo that reaches us now across 2,400 years, suggesting that a life filled with restless thoughts is not a failure but an opportunity. Before we can understand the peace he offered, we must first appreciate the beautiful disturbance he caused. His method was deceptively simple, a gentle unraveling of certainty. He would start with a seemingly straightforward question, and through a series of thoughtful inquiries, reveal how little we truly understand about the concepts we use every day, like justice or love. This process was not meant to embarrass, but to liberate. By admitting we do not have all the answers, we make room for a deeper, more authentic kind of knowledge. Think of your own mind tonight, churning with the day's worries and tomorrow's anxieties. Socrates would not tell you to ignore them. Instead, he would gently ask, what is the nature of that worry? From where does it truly arise? This is the beginning of examination, the first step toward quieting the noise not by force, but by understanding. That very invitation to examine life transforms our bedtime routine from a chore into a sacred practice. Lying in the quiet dark, we are granted a unique opportunity to become our own Socrates. The day's events replay not as a chaotic storm, but as a series of gentle questions. Why did that particular comment from a coworker linger in my mind? What was the true source of my frustration in traffic? This is not about harsh self-judgment. It is about compassionate curiosity. We are simply observing the patterns of our own soul, much as Socrates observed the marketplace of Athens. Each quiet question we ask ourselves in the stillness is a small act of philosophical courage. It is a way of honoring his belief that a life without reflection lacks depth and meaning. By contemplating our actions and reactions, we are not dwelling on the past. We are learning its language. We begin to see the recurring themes, the hidden worries, the quiet joys that shape our days. This process brings a profound sense of closure. The unresolved tension of the day is no longer a ghost to be feared, but a puzzle to be understood. As you turn over the events of your hours, you are not feeding your anxiety. You are disarming it. You are gently sorting through the mental clutter, piece by piece, until all that remains is a clear and quiet space. This is the peace that Socrates spoke of, the tranquility that comes not from avoiding thought, but from embracing it with a gentle and questioning heart. There is a certain freedom found in admitting you do not know. For Socrates, this was not a weakness but the very source of his strength. His famous declaration that he knew nothing was the cornerstone of his philosophy. It was the fertile ground from which all true learning could grow. We often lie awake at night, our minds racing with questions that have no clear answers. What will happen with my job? Is my family truly safe? Why did that friendship fade away? We demand certainty from a world that refuses to provide it, and this struggle for control is a primary source of our insomnia. We treat our restless minds like a problem to be solved, searching for a final, definitive answer that will grant us peace. But what if the peace is not in the answer, but in the release of the question itself? Socrates invites us to a different way. He teaches that wisdom begins with the honest acknowledgement of our own limits. When you find yourself staring at the ceiling, haunted by an unresolved worry, try a gentle Socratic shift. Instead of asking, "What is the solution?" ask a more profound question. Can I, at this very moment, truly know the outcome? The answer is almost always a quiet no. This is not a defeat, it is a profound liberation. Accepting that some things are beyond our knowing is like setting down a heavy weight you have been carrying for miles. You are not meant to carry it all. The anxiety about tomorrow's meeting does not need a guaranteed successful outcome to be put to rest. It only needs your acceptance that you have prepared as well as you can, and the rest is not in your hands. The grief over a past mistake does not require a time machine to fix it. It asks only for your understanding that you acted with the knowledge you had at the time. This is the practice of Socratic ignorance. It is the conscious decision to stop fighting the fog of uncertainty and instead to rest within it. You are not giving up. You are waking up to the reality of the human condition, a reality Socrates embraced 2 millennia ago. The mind, when it stops demanding absolute certainty, finds it can finally relax into the soft embrace of the present moment, where the only thing you truly need to know is that you are here, you are safe, and you can let go. This internal dialogue becomes a gentle tool for mental unwinding. Think of the Socratic method not as a debate, but as a quiet conversation with your own thoughts. It is the art of asking yourself simple, kind questions, one after another, to untangle the knots of the day. You do not need a formal dialogue partner, only your own curious and patient attention. For instance, if a feeling of anxiety about a work project is keeping you awake, you might begin by asking, "What is the core of this worry?" The answer might be, "I am afraid I will not meet the deadline." Your next gentle question could be, "And what would happen then?" Perhaps the answer is, "My supervisor would be disappointed." You follow this thread with compassionate inquiry. Is that a certainty or a fear? Have I done all I can for today? This line of questioning is not about finding a perfect solution before you sleep. It is about transforming a swirling, overwhelming cloud of stress into a series of discrete, manageable thoughts. Each question acts like a gentle hand smoothing out a tangled thread. You are not arguing with your anxiety. You are simply listening to it, understanding its origins, and in doing so, you rob it of its chaotic power. The goal is not to win the argument, but to understand the other voice in your head so completely that it has nothing left to shout. This process brings a deep sense of order to the mind. As you lie in the quiet dark, you guide yourself from a state of frantic reaction to one of calm observation. The day's stresses begin to lose their sharp edges, becoming mere subjects of contemplation rather than sources of panic. You are not solving all your problems, you are simply putting them to bed for the night, one gentle question at a time. Socrates carried a radical idea into the Athenian streets, one that can transform our restless nights. He believed that all virtue is a form of knowledge, and that every wrong act is at its heart an act of ignorance. When someone acts cruelly or unjustly, they are not evil but mistaken. They are confused about what is truly good for their own soul. This is not about excusing harmful behavior, but about understanding its deepest source. Think of your own day. Recall a moment you regret, a sharp word spoken or a patience lost. In the quiet of your bed, that memory can feel like a personal failure, a weight upon your chest. But through the Socratic lens, that action was not a mark of a bad person. It was a moment of confusion. You lacked, in that specific instance, the full knowledge of how to respond with perfect wisdom and grace. You were ignorant of the most virtuous path in that split second. This perspective is not a loophole but a liberation. It invites a profound self-forgiveness. When you understand that your worst reactions often come from a place of not knowing better, a temporary blindness to the best version of yourself, the guilt begins to soften. You can look back at your day not with judgment, but with a gentle, analytical curiosity. Why did I react that way? What knowledge was I missing in that moment? Perhaps it was the knowledge that the other person was also struggling. Perhaps it was the understanding that my own peace was more valuable than winning a pointless argument. This nightly review becomes a quiet lesson, not a punishment. Each regretted moment transforms from a stone of self-condemnation into a seed of future wisdom. You are gathering the very knowledge that will, over time, make you more virtuous, more patient, more kind. The soul, understanding its own moments of ignorance, can finally forgive them. It can release the tension of the day and settle into a state of tranquil acceptance, ready not to repeat the same mistakes, but to learn from them and rest. Socrates called this the care of the soul, a phrase that sounds lofty but is profoundly simple. It is not about grand spiritual quests, but about the gentle, nightly practice of checking in with yourself. Just as you might wash your face or brush your teeth before bed, this is a cleansing of the inner self. It is a quiet moment to assess your inner state, to ask without judgment how your soul has fared throughout the day. Was it bruised by a harsh word? Did it swell with a quiet joy? This is not a performance review for your life. It is an act of nurturing your mental well-being, a way of tending to the most essential part of you as you prepare for rest. Think of your soul as a delicate garden that you visit each evening. You do not arrive with a bulldozer demanding immediate and drastic change. You walk through with a soft light, noticing which flowers bloomed and which plants seem wilted. You might gently water the soil of a neglected kindness or prune back the thorny vine of a lingering resentment. This nightly check-in requires no special tools, only your attention. It begins with a single, compassionate question posed in the dark. How do I feel right now? The answer might be tired or anxious or even peacefully quiet. Whatever the response, you simply acknowledge it. You are not trying to fix anything, only to understand the current landscape of your own being. This simple act of turning your attention inward is the most fundamental form of soul care. It is a declaration that your inner world matters. When you make this a regular practice, you build a relationship with yourself based not on criticism, but on compassionate observation. You learn the subtle rhythms of your own heart and mind. You start to recognize what nourishes you and what depletes you. This knowledge becomes your guide, not just for sleeping, but for living. And as you end this daily ritual of care, your soul, feeling seen and tended to, can finally release the day's burdens and settle into a deep, restorative silence. His final hours offer a masterclass in tranquility. Condemned to die by drinking poison hemlock, Socrates did not rage or plead. Surrounded by his grieving friends, he remained astonishingly calm, even cheerful. His student Plato recorded these last moments in a dialogue called the Phaedo, and in it we find not a tragedy, but a profound argument for peace. Socrates reasoned that death is one of two things. Either it is a state of nothingness, a dreamless sleep from which we never wake, or it is a transformation, a migration of the soul to another place. If it is nothingness, he said, then it is a great gain, for who would not welcome a night of perfect, eternal rest? And if it is a journey to another realm, then it is an even greater adventure, a chance to converse with the heroes and sages of the past. His logic reframed the ultimate unknown not as a terror, but as a neutral or even positive transition. This is the perspective we can borrow when our own fears of the unknown keep us staring at the ceiling. Your anxiety about a medical test result, your worry over a financial uncertainty, your dread about a difficult conversation tomorrow, these are all smaller versions of the same fear. They are shadows cast by an uncertain future. Socrates invites us to apply his same two possibilities to our own nightly worries. Either the thing we fear will not happen, in which case we have worried for nothing, or it will happen, and we will meet it with the resources we have at that time. In both cases, the frantic worrying in the dark is the true burden, not the event itself. By accepting that we cannot control the outcome, only our preparation for it, we drain the fear of its power. We can consciously choose to see the unknown not as a threat, but as a neutral space, a quiet room we have not yet entered. We can trust that, like Socrates, we will have the capacity to face whatever we find there when the time comes. This is not naive optimism. It is a courageous acceptance of reality, a decision to stop fighting ghosts and instead to rest in the certainty of the present breath, the soft pillow, the quiet dark. The future will arrive on its own terms, but tonight you are here and you are safe, and that is enough. Socrates spoke of a quiet companion he called his daemonion, a small divine voice that would gently warn him against certain actions. He never claimed it told him what to do, only what not to do, a subtle check on his impulses. This is not so different from the quiet intuition we all carry within, that gut feeling we often dismiss in the noise of the day. Tonight, as you lie in the stillness, that inner voice has its best chance to be heard. It is the part of you that knew a decision felt wrong, even when the logic seemed sound. It is the quiet unease you felt about a path you chose, or the sudden peace that settled over you when you made a kind choice. Learning to listen to this internal guide is a final, beautiful step in the Socratic art of finding peace. Think of a recent decision that still nags at you. Perhaps you agreed to a social commitment you did not truly want, or you remained silent when you felt you should have spoken up. In the bright light of day, you reasoned it away, but here in the quiet, that small voice whispers its gentle dissent. Socrates would not tell you to obey it blindly. He would invite you to question it, to engage it in a gentle dialogue. Why does this path feel wrong? What deeper value of mine is being overlooked? This is not about creating more anxiety, but about resolving the tension that already exists. By giving your intuition a respectful audience, you are not being irrational. You are integrating the wisdom of your whole self, the logical mind and the feeling heart. This process brings a profound sense of resolution. When you acknowledge that quiet inner signal, you are essentially telling yourself that your feelings are valid and worth considering. You are mending a small tear in your own perception. The unresolved decision stops churning in your mind because it has finally been heard. You can then make a quiet promise to yourself to honor that voice a little more tomorrow. There is no need for drastic action, only a gentle acknowledgement. As you learn to trust this inner compass, your days may become more aligned with your true nature, and your nights will be filled with the quiet satisfaction of a self that is no longer at war with itself. This is the gift of the Socratic daemonion, repurposed for a modern soul. It is the practice of listening, truly listening, until the only voice left is the one that tells you it is finally time to rest. That gentle act of listening leads directly to a final Socratic skill, self-mastery. For Socrates, true freedom was not found in satisfying every desire, but in mastering them. He demonstrated this with a simple, powerful act. He could walk through the Athenian marketplace, gazing at all the luxurious goods for sale, and then simply walk away, declaring, "How many things I have no need of." This was not a statement of poverty, but of profound power. It was the power to choose not to be ruled by external wants. We can apply this same principle to the thoughts that cling to us at night. The frustration with a coworker, the desire for a different outcome, the replay of a minor irritation, these are the mental trinkets we pick up during the day and carry with us to bed. Self-mastery is the conscious decision to set them down. It is the inner strength to look at that swirling thought about tomorrow's deadline and declare, "I have no need of you right now." This is not suppression, it is a graceful act of release. Think of your mind as a hand that has been clenched tightly around these thoughts all day. The muscles are tired, the knuckles are white. Self-mastery is the deliberate, gentle act of unfurling each finger one by one and letting the thought fall away. You are not denying its existence. You are simply choosing not to grip it any longer. That desire to have the last word in an argument, you can release it. That frustration over a disrupted plan, you can let it go. Each release is a small victory of inner will, a declaration that your peace is more valuable than your preoccupation. This is the ultimate preparation for sleep. The body cannot fully surrender to rest if the mind is still in a state of wanting, of resisting, of clinging. By practicing this Socratic self-control, you give your entire being permission to let go. You are mastering the internal marketplace of your own mind, choosing the quiet emptiness of rest over the noisy clutter of the day. And in that chosen emptiness, sleep finds its natural, welcoming home. We can almost see him now, walking home as the Athenian sun dipped below the horizon, his daily work of questioning complete. While we have no direct record of his nighttime habits, the principles of his life sketch a clear portrait of how a Socratic philosopher would prepare for rest. His evening would not be an escape from thought, but its gentle culmination. After a day spent examining virtue and justice in the public square, he would turn that same reflective gaze inward. This was not a time for new debates, but for quiet assimilation. He might have walked through his small home, noticing the simple comforts, a sturdy stool, a clay cup, and felt a deep sense of gratitude for having no need for more. His preparation was a conscious shifting of focus from the outer world of discourse to the inner world of the soul. He was, in essence, putting his own house in order before entrusting it to the mystery of sleep. This historical framework gives us a powerful model. Our own pre-sleep scrolling through endless news or social media is the exact opposite of this philosophical wind down. We are inviting the world's chaos in just as we should be gently showing it the door. The Socratic method teaches us to end the day not with distraction but with intentional reflection. Imagine taking just 5 minutes before turning out the light. You are not analyzing or solving problems. You are simply revisiting the day with a quiet, grateful curiosity. What small moment of beauty did I witness today? A stranger's smile, the taste of a warm drink, the feeling of the sun on your skin. When was I today the person I wished to be? Perhaps it was a moment of patience in a long line or a kind word to a colleague. And where did I fall short, not to condemn myself, but to understand my own confusion? This is not a to-do list for self-improvement. It is an act of gathering the day's lessons and blessings, of weaving them into the tapestry of your life. This gentle review, this philosopher's preparation, signals to your mind that the day's work is done. The questions have been asked, the experiences have been acknowledged. There is nothing left to hold on to, nothing more to figure out. In this state of grateful completion, the soul is ready to release its grip on the waking world and descend peacefully into the quiet wisdom of the night. The Athenian night was a different world from the bustling day. The white marble of the Acropolis would glow softly under the moonlight, a silent monument against a sky dense with stars we can no longer see. The frantic energy of the marketplace had faded, replaced by the quiet murmur of the evening breeze through olive groves and the distant, rhythmic sound of the Aegean Sea against the shore. Oil lamps flickered behind thin shutters, casting long, dancing shadows on the narrow streets. The air, once thick with the smells of spices, sweat, and animals, now carried the clean scent of cooled stone and the faint, sweet perfume of night-blooming jasmine. This was the city's natural lullaby. Without the constant stimulation of crowds and commerce, the mind was free to expand, to turn inward. There were no screens casting a blue glow, no endless notifications, only the vast, quiet darkness inviting contemplation. This is the environment that cradled Socratic thought. It is a world we can borrow for a few moments tonight. Let the image of that moonlit city wash over you. Feel the distance it creates from your own four walls, from the digital hum of your own life. Imagine the profound quiet, broken only by the occasional echo of a footstep on stone or the call of a night bird. In that expansive silence, small, daily worries lost their urgency. They were dwarfed by the grandeur of the cosmos and the timeless questions of what it means to be human. Your own room begins to feel less like a confined space and more like a personal Athenian courtyard, a private sanctuary for your own thoughts. The gentle darkness is not an emptiness to be filled, but a canvas for reflection. As you breathe in this imagined peace, the nagging details of your day start to feel smaller, softer, further away. You are not just lying in bed, you are participating in an ancient ritual of winding down, connecting your search for rest to a tradition that is over 2,000 years old. The night becomes a bridge across time, inviting you to let go of the modern world and sink into a deeper, more ancient kind of calm. Close your eyes for a moment and bring to mind one small worry from your day. It does not need to be a great crisis, just a persistent thought like a pebble in your shoe. Perhaps it is a lingering tension from a conversation or a vague anxiety about a task left unfinished. Hold that thought gently in your mind, not as a problem to be solved right now, but as an object of quiet curiosity. Now we will begin a simple dialogue with it, a gentle inquiry in the spirit of Socrates. Ask your worry this first question: what is your true nature? Are you a prediction of a future event, or are you simply a feeling in my body? Listen for the answer without forcing one. You might notice that the worry feels like a tightness in your chest or a restlessness in your hands. It is often a physical sensation masquerading as a fact. Next, pose a second gentle question. What is the story I am telling myself about you? The story might be, if this happens, then everything will fall apart. Look at that story with a kind and skeptical eye. Is that narrative an absolute truth, or is it just one possible version of events among many? Now, ask a third and final question for tonight. Can I, at this very moment, do anything to change the outcome you represent? The honest answer is almost always a soft, liberating no. You have prepared, you have acted, and now the event is in the hands of the future. Having asked these questions, you have not defeated the worry. You have simply understood it better. You have seen its physical form, questioned the story it tells, and acknowledged your present lack of control over it. Now visualize yourself placing that pebble of a worry on the surface of a still, dark pond. Watch as it rests there for a moment before slowly sinking out of sight, leaving only gentle, widening ripples that gradually smooth back into perfect calm. The thought is not gone forever, but it is released from your grip for tonight. It has been heard, examined, and laid to rest. This small act of inner dialogue is the essence of Socratic peace, a way to untangle the mind one quiet question at a time, until nothing remains but the deep, quiet dark, ready to welcome you home. What might Socrates have made of our dreamscapes? While he left no writings on the subject, his belief in the soul's journey suggests he would see sleep not as an emptiness but as a frontier. The subconscious mind, with its strange logic and symbolic landscapes, could be the soul's own private agora, a marketplace of ideas free from the constraints of the waking world. Here, in this internal theater, the soul continues its work of examination, playing out scenarios, confronting hidden fears, and rehearsing unresolved dialogues from the day. A dream of being chased might be the soul's way of questioning what you are running from in your life. A dream of flying could be its playful exploration of a newfound sense of freedom. These are not random misfirings of the brain, but the mind's own Socratic method, operating in the language of metaphor and symbol. Going to sleep, then, becomes an act of courageous curiosity. You are not simply powering down. You are embarking on a nightly voyage into the deepest parts of yourself, a place where the soul, untethered from the body, can roam vast and mysterious territories. It converses with fragments of memory, with faces long forgotten, with hopes and anxieties given form. This perspective transforms the very act of closing your eyes. It is no longer a surrender to exhaustion, but a deliberate journey into the interior. You are the philosopher of your own dreams, ready to learn what your soul has to teach you in the quiet hours. So tonight, as you drift toward sleep, do not fear the strange and the surreal. Welcome it as Socrates welcomed a difficult question as an opportunity for discovery. Ask yourself not what your dreams mean, but what they are asking you to examine. Your adventure into the unexamined dream is about to begin. There is a profound lightness hidden within Socrates' famous pose of ignorance. He would approach the most celebrated scholars and statesmen of Athens, and with a completely straight face proclaim his own lack of wisdom, asking if they might teach him. This was Socratic irony, a brilliant strategy that was not about deception, but about disarming the ego. He pretended to be a simple student to expose the complex pretensions of his teachers. By lowering himself, he created a spacious arena where real inquiry could flourish, free from the pressure to appear smart or have all the answers. We carry that same pressure to bed with us every night. Our worries are not just problems, they are performances. We feel we must be the brilliant strategist solving tomorrow's crisis, the perfect parent reviewing every interaction, the flawless professional planning every move. This performance is exhausting. Socratic irony offers us a way to step off that stage. What if you approached your own racing thoughts with a touch of that same gentle irony? Look at that familiar anxiety about a work presentation. Instead of wrestling with it seriously, try a little philosophical play. Ah, here you are again, my old friend, the midnight forecast of professional doom. Tell me, oh wise worry, what exactly is the catastrophic outcome you predict? By personifying the worry and speaking to it with a hint of humorous detachment, you do not dismiss it. You simply refuse to grant it the solemn authority it demands. You are exposing its pretensions, just as Socrates exposed the hollow knowledge of the sophists. This is not about making light of real problems, but about recognizing how our minds often inflate them into grand, self-important dramas. The fear of being judged, the sting of a slight, the pressure to be perfect, these are the modern equivalents of the Athenian elite's puffed-up certainties. And they deflate just as easily when met with a quiet, inward smile. Learning to laugh at the sheer predictability and grandiosity of our own worries is a form of spiritual hygiene. It scrubs away the layers of tension that cling to them. That nagging thought about a social faux pas transforms from a crushing indictment of your character into a simple, human mistake, the kind anyone could make. The anxiety about a future obligation softens from a looming monster into a manageable task, one you will handle when the sun is up. This gentle mockery of your own mental processes creates a crucial space between you and your thought. You are no longer identical to your worries. You are the one observing them with a curious and slightly amused eye. And in that space, a lighter heart finds room to breathe, making the final descent into sleep feel less like a struggle and more like a natural, graceful surrender. Socrates viewed this physical body not as our true self, but as the temporary vessel for the soul. It was the humble, earthly boat that carried his conscious mind through the marketplace of life. While he focused on the eternal nature of the soul, he understood that its temporary home needed care and attention. This ancient insight offers a direct path out of our racing minds and into the peaceful harbor of sleep. When thoughts spiral into endless loops, the body remains a steadfast anchor to the present moment. It is always here, in this bed, in this room, right now. We can begin to untie the knots of mental tension by first acknowledging the physical form that holds them. Let your awareness drift down from the busy landscape of your thoughts and into the quiet territory of your body. Start with the crown of your head. Simply notice any sensation there without any need to change it. Perhaps you feel the slight pressure of the pillow, or the gentle weight of your hair, or maybe just a neutral, quiet presence. Now guide your attention slowly down to your forehead. Feel the subtle difference between the skin of your brow and the air of the room. Let go of any effort to hold your eyes tight behind their lids, allowing the muscles around them to soften and grow heavy. Move your awareness into your jaw. Is it held tightly shut, guarding against unspoken words? Allow it to relax, creating a small space between your teeth. Feel the weight of your shoulders sinking into the mattress as if they were heavy stones finally being set down after a long day's carry. Notice the steady rhythm of your breath moving in and out of your chest, a constant, gentle tide you do not need to control. Follow this journey of attention all the way down to the soles of your feet, feeling the light brush of the sheets, the warmth of your own skin. You are not trying to achieve a perfect state of relaxation. You are simply taking a quiet inventory, a Socratic examination of your physical self. Where do you feel holding? Where do you feel ease? This simple body scan is a profound act of reunification. It brings your scattered awareness home, gathering the energy spent on tomorrow's worries and yesterday's regrets back into the one place that is truly yours in this moment. With each area you notice, you are releasing a small, physical claim that mental anxiety has on your form. The tight shoulder was carrying the weight of a responsibility. The clenched jaw was holding back a frustration. By feeling these sensations with gentle curiosity, you are not fighting the tension. You are understanding it, and in that understanding, it naturally begins to dissolve. Your body, feeling seen and acknowledged, can finally surrender its vigil. The vessel settles and the soul within grows quiet, ready for the deep, still waters of the night. Socrates spent his life in pursuit of the good, a concept far grander than simple morality. For him, the good was the ultimate aim of human existence, the North Star that guided every thought and action toward a life of meaning and virtue. This was not a frantic chase, but a quiet, deliberate alignment. We can bring this same alignment into our final waking moments. Instead of letting your mind race with unchecked ambitions and to-do lists, you can consciously choose to focus on your own personal good. What core value did you honor today? Perhaps it was integrity when you told a difficult truth. Maybe it was kindness in a small, unnoticed gesture. Restless ambition shouts about what you have not yet achieved, but the quiet pursuit of the good whispers about who you have already become. This shift in focus is profoundly calming. Ask yourself not what you need to accomplish tomorrow, but what quality you wish to bring to those accomplishments. Do you want to approach your work with creativity rather than dread? Do you want to meet your family with patience instead of distraction? By setting an intention rooted in a value, you are planting a seed for tomorrow's growth, not digging a trench for tonight's anxiety. This practice transforms the pre-sleep mental review from a catalog of lacks into a recognition of purpose. That lingering worry about a project is no longer just a task, it becomes an opportunity to practice diligence. That anxiety about a conversation becomes a chance to cultivate understanding. When you connect your daily actions to your deeper intentions, you replace the churning feeling of never doing enough with the peaceful certainty that you are moving in the right direction. The soul, recognizing its own alignment with the good, can finally relax its striving. There is no more need to grasp because you are already on the path. This sense of purposeful contentment is the most fertile ground for sleep. A state where ambition rests and the heart knows it is exactly where it needs to be. His final moments were not spent in solitary contemplation, but surrounded by his closest companions. Even as the poison crept through his body, Socrates used his last breaths not for solitary prayer, but for conversation, comforting his weeping friends and continuing their philosophical dialogue. His life was a testament to the idea that we are not meant to seek wisdom alone. The very act of thinking for him was a communal project, a shared journey undertaken through friendship. This ancient understanding holds a beautiful key for us tonight. Just as our anxieties can feel magnified in the lonely dark, they can be softened by the simple mental embrace of community. Think back over your own day and find one small positive connection. It might have been a shared laugh with a coworker, a thoughtful text from a family member, or even a moment of quiet understanding with a stranger in a coffee shop. That brief exchange was more than just a pleasant moment. It was a thread in the invisible net of fellowship that holds us all. As you lie in the quiet, you can consciously pull on that thread. Replay the warmth of that interaction in your mind. Feel the echo of that smile, the resonance of that kind word. This is not mere nostalgia. It is an active practice of drawing security from our social bonds. In a world that often feels isolating, these connections remind us that we are part of something larger than our own worries. We are nodes in a vast, quiet network of mutual care. Your personal challenge is not to solve a philosophical puzzle tonight, but to find one memory of connection and hold it gently. Let it be a soft light in the darkness. That feeling of being seen, of being understood, even for a moment, is a profound antidote to the cold fear of being alone with our thoughts. It answers a deep human need for belonging that Socrates himself cultivated in the Athenian agora. When we feel connected, our nervous system can truly relax. The vigilance that keeps us awake begins to ease because on some primal level we feel safer. We are not a single soul adrift in a hostile universe, but a member of a tribe watched over by the friendly stars of our relationships. Let that remembered warmth be your blanket, a tangible comfort woven from the goodwill of others, and feel your own soul settle into the secure and peaceful sleep of one who is not alone. His final trial was a masterclass in letting go. When the Athenian court sentenced him to death, Socrates did not beg for mercy or rage against the injustice. He accepted the verdict with a calm that stunned his friends, telling them that a good person cannot be harmed, not even in death. He trusted the unfolding of his own life and his own end with a profound and unwavering faith. This was not passive resignation. It was an active, courageous acceptance of a fate he could not change. We face our own smaller versions of this each night. The mind clings to outcomes we cannot control, from a loved one's health to the success of a distant plan. We lie in the dark, trying to mentally manipulate events that are already in motion, as if our worry alone could steer the universe. Socrates invites us to lay down that impossible burden. He asks us to distinguish between what is within our power and what is not. Your efforts during the day were within your control. Your preparation, your kindness, your hard work, these were your domain. But the final result, the reaction of others, the twists of circumstance, these belong to the realm of fate. To fight against this is to wage a war you cannot win, and the battlefield is your own peaceful sleep. Think of a specific concern keeping you awake right now. Trace it back to its core. Is its resolution truly in your hands at this moment? If the answer is no, then you have encountered a modern form of fate. It is the unknown outcome, the variable you cannot solve for. Following Socrates, you can choose to meet it not with resistance, but with a quiet acknowledgement. This thing is beyond my control tonight. I entrust it to the larger order of things. This conscious release is like unclenching a fist you did not even know was tight. It is not giving up, it is giving over. You are placing the worry on the current of life and allowing it to carry on without your frantic paddling. The night itself becomes a metaphor for this acceptance. You cannot hurry the dawn, just as you cannot force a solution to appear in the dark. You can only surrender to the necessary and restorative process of the night, trusting that you will meet the morning with the strength it requires. This Socratic acceptance of fate is the final surrender into rest, a deep and knowing peace that comes from no longer fighting the river but floating peacefully upon it. His final request was as puzzling as it was peaceful. With the hemlock numbness reaching his heart, Socrates spoke his last words to his friend Crito. "Do not forget," he whispered, "to sacrifice a rooster to Asclepius. Asclepius was the god of healing, and this strange request has echoed through the centuries." Why would a dying man offer thanks for a cure? Many scholars believe Socrates saw death not as an end, but as the ultimate healing, the release of the soul from the sickness of the body. We can borrow this beautiful metaphor for our own nightly journey. Falling asleep is not a small death, but a small healing. Each night, we have the chance to offer our own quiet thanks for the restorative power of release. The anxieties of the day, the grudges we carry, the endless mental calculations, these are the minor illnesses of the soul. Sleep is the divine physician that comes to mend them. As you settle into your bed, you are not simply powering down. You are performing your own gentle sacrifice, letting go of the waking world as an offering to the God of rest. Think of a specific tension you are holding in your body right now. That tightness in your shoulder is a wound from the day's burdens. That knot of worry in your stomach is an inflammation of the spirit. The act of consciously releasing that tension, of allowing your body to grow heavy and soft against the mattress, is your rooster for Asclepius. It is your way of saying thank you for the healing that is about to commence. You are not fighting for sleep, you are gratefully accepting its cure. Every breath that grows slower and deeper is part of the treatment, washing away the residue of the day's fevers. The quiet dark is not an emptiness, but a sacred space where the soul's own natural healing powers are given room to work. Your dreams become the pharmacy where metaphors mix the salves that soothe your subconscious aches. So tonight, as you feel yourself drifting across that threshold, see it for what it is. You are not losing consciousness. You are surrendering to a profound and ancient mending, a daily grace that Socrates himself recognized as the final great gift. Your bedroom can become a physical echo of the Athenian Stoa, a portico designed not for show but for conversation and calm. Begin by considering the principle of simplicity. Socrates believed that the fewer distractions we have, the more clearly we can hear our own thoughts. Look around your sleep space. What objects are truly necessary for rest and which are merely clutter? A stack of unread books on the nightstand can feel like a silent to-do list. A television screen is a modern sophist shouting opinions and dramas into your quiet hours. The goal is not stark emptiness but intentional curation. Choose one or two items that inspire a feeling of peace, a simple plant, a smooth stone from a favorite walk, a lamp that casts a soft, warm glow. Each object should earn its place by contributing to an atmosphere of contemplation, not consumption. This is your personal agora, a marketplace for your own soul's dialogue, and it must be kept clear for that sacred business. Next, address the sensory landscape. The ancient Stoa was open to the air, cooled by the evening breeze and scented by nearby gardens. You can cultivate this same sensory simplicity. The feel of your sheets matters more than their thread count. Choose natural fabrics that breathe and feel gentle against your skin. The quality of the darkness is profound. Heavy curtains can mimic the deep, star-filled Athenian night, signaling to your primal mind that the day's work is truly done. As for sound, if silence feels too heavy, consider the soft, rhythmic whisper of a white noise machine, a modern substitute for the distant sound of the sea against the Piraeus shore. This careful arrangement is not mere decoration. It is a physical prayer for peace, a way of telling your nervous system before a single thought is examined that this is a place of safety and retreat. When you walk into this prepared space, you are stepping out of the chaotic marketplace of modern life and into your own sanctuary, a room designed for one purpose only, to support the quiet, Socratic work of unwinding the soul and welcoming the healing dark. The sounds that surrounded Socrates were the original sleep aids. His dialogues took place to the natural rhythm of cicadas in the olive groves and the distant, rhythmic crash of waves on the Aegean coast. These were not distractions but anchors, pulling the mind into the present moment with their steady, predictable patterns. We can recreate this auditory environment tonight, using sound not as a background noise, but as an active tool to guide the mind away from its own chatter. The goal is to find a sound that acts as a gentle shepherd for your attention, leading it away from the labyrinth of worry and back to the simple reality of your breath and your body. A calm, philosophical narration spoken in a slow and measured tone can be incredibly effective. The words themselves matter less than the rhythm and the timbre of the voice. A steady, melodic voice gives your busy mind a single, simple thread to follow. It does not demand analysis or deep thought. Instead, it offers a verbal river to float upon, carrying you away from the rocky shores of your own racing thoughts. The voice becomes a companion in the dark, a quiet guide who assures you that you are not alone in your search for peace. Alternatively, ambient sounds that evoke the ancient world can serve the same purpose. The soft crackle of a gentle fire mimics the flickering oil lamps of an Athenian home. The low, resonant hum of a singing bowl can feel like the vibrational echo of a bronze shield, not in battle but at rest. The key is to choose a sound that feels expansive and timeless, something that reminds you of a world much larger and slower than the one inside your head. This is not about adding more stimulation. It is about replacing the chaotic, high-pitched noise of modern anxiety with a lower, slower frequency. As you listen, you are not just hearing a sound. You are training your mind to release its grip on complex problems and surrender to a simpler, more primal sensory experience. The sound becomes a doorway out of your personal drama and into a shared historical calm, a place where the only thing required of you is to listen and then, finally, to rest. That same breath filling your lungs right now was the very engine of Socratic dialogue. Each question he posed, each thoughtful reply was carried on its quiet rhythm. We can reclaim this most fundamental rhythm as a simple tool for tranquility. This is not a complex meditation requiring special skills, but a mindful practice of returning to the present, just as Socrates returned again and again to the heart of a matter. Begin by noticing the natural flow of your breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. There is no need to force it or change it. Simply observe it as a curious fact, much as Socrates would observe a new idea in the marketplace. Now introduce a soft internal count. As you inhale, silently note the number 1. As you exhale, note the number 1 again. On the next full breath, inhale as the number 2 and exhale as the number 2. Continue this pattern, counting each full inhalation and exhalation up to the number 4. Once you reach 4, simply return to 1 and begin the cycle again. This gentle counting acts as an anchor for your wandering mind. When a thought about tomorrow's responsibilities arises, as it inevitably will, you do not fight it. You acknowledge its presence, then gently return your focus to the count, to the next number in the sequence. You are not trying to empty your mind, but to give it a single, simple task. The thought about your work email is like a sophist trying to distract you with a clever argument. Your breath count is your Socratic reply, a quiet, repetitive question that brings the discussion back to the essential truth of this moment. You are here, you are breathing. The world for now is reduced to this cycle of 4. There is nothing else you need to solve, nothing else you need to become. With each counted breath, you are practicing a deep form of philosophical attention, training your mind to release its grip on the abstract future and settle into the tangible, rhythmic reality of the here and now. This is how the body's most automatic function becomes a deliberate pathway to peace, a lullaby of your own making, guiding you steadily toward the quiet shore of sleep. This is the final application of his wisdom, the gentle release of knowing itself. You have examined your day, you have cared for your soul, you have accepted what you cannot change. Now the last gate to cross is the one that leads into the unknown. Sleep is the ultimate Socratic question to which you do not and cannot know the answer. What will you dream? How will it feel? Where will your mind travel? The frantic need for certainty that kept you awake now becomes the final barrier to rest. Socratic ignorance, when applied to the threshold of sleep, is a permission slip to stop trying to figure it out. It is the conscious decision to lay down the burden of consciousness itself. Think of your mind as a scholar who has been studying all day, surrounded by scrolls and arguments. The night is not a call for more study, but for the scholar to finally close the books, to step away from the lamp, and to walk out into the starlit night with no destination in mind. The goal is not to find the right path, but to enjoy the feeling of being lost in the quiet dark. Every time you find yourself grasping for a thought, trying to solve one more problem before you drift off. You are that scholar sneaking back into the library. Gently guide yourself back out. You do not need to know how your body will repair itself tonight. You do not need to understand the neuroscience of dreams. You only need to trust the process, just as Socrates trusted the journey of his soul. Allow your awareness to soften at the edges. Let the sharp lines of your thoughts blur and bleed into one another. The day's certainties and confusions can all be released into the same soft fog. There is no exam to pass in your sleep, no performance to give. There is only the quiet, mysterious adventure of not knowing, and the profound peace that awaits when you finally stop insisting that you should. The journey we have taken through the quiet streets of Athens now brings us home to our own pillow. Socrates offered us not a set of rigid rules, but a way of being with our own mind. The gentle art of self-examination untangles the day's knots. The profound peace of acceptance allows us to release what we cannot control, and the simple, nightly care of the soul reminds us that our inner world is a garden worth tending. These are not ancient secrets, but timeless practices for a quiet heart. Thank you for allowing this philosophical journey to be your companion tonight. May these ideas linger in the space between your thoughts, a soft cushion for your mind as you surrender to the night. We wish you a deep and restorative sleep and dreams as peaceful as a moonlit Athenian shore.